Should be recording.
We're going to go ahead and got it. First of all, I want to welcome y'all back for the spring semester. We're here for HEAD 515, which is Administration of Student Development Programs and Services. The overall program, as I was speaking off camera to a few of you earlier, is to prepare you for administrative roles in higher education. That could be in a community college, or technical college, or university, or state college, or proprietary college. What makes us different than the other schools in the state, most of them tend to focus on just student personnel services, where you get an introduction to that, but at the same time you're going to learn about the legal aspects, the institutional effectiveness and assessment accreditation issues, finance, or overall organization. And by the time you finish the program, you should be well prepared to respond to situations or assignments, like if the president of the university calls you and says, I need all the information on skateboarding on campus. Well, you're going to know how to find that information and prepare a well-written brief and an explanation that's very succinctly written to the president of the university or the board. I wanted me today to just go over the syllabus, so we won't be here very long. And there's going to be a few more, hopefully a couple of people zoom in. Did y'all get my email about the Zoom?
Yes.
This is the only time you'll find me reading through pages. Okay. If you need to reach me, my extension is 4021. You can call at any time of the day or night. You can send me an email. I might answer at 2 or 3 in the morning because I'm up at 2 or 3 in the morning usually. I'm a vampire. The books for the class, there are 2 of them. One is required, but you don't have to buy it. It's available electronically online on the syllabus website. However, there's a lot of good information there for resources that you could have later. Like I still have my master's and doctoral program professional books because I refer to them from time to time. The second book is Decision Matters, which is basically a case studies book, and I have found it an excellent resource. So if you could be working in programs and services where you're going to have opportunities to train students or train staff how to respond and think about situations from an organized, detailed perspective, this is a pretty good book. But we also have some other resources on there. I've copied the case studies that we're going to discuss in class and posted them on a link on the web page. Now, when you look at it, your copy is going to be sideways. You just have to rotate it. And then the student personnel points of view. If you want to know where you're going, you have to know where you came from. And you have to know how and why things are the way they are. Well, in 1937, the Council on Education, come on in, issued a student personnel point of view, which basically identified those things that colleges and universities are supposed to engage in to provide for the student experience. And it was updated in 1949 to reflect the large influx of students, because prior to World War II, basically higher education was not for everybody in America. I mean, not just African Americans, but a lot of women didn't go to college. You generally went to college if you came from a wealthy family, or you were extremely, extremely talented and someone discovered you along the way. But education changed tremendously in the United States after World War II. So this is a document I'm going to ask you to read, and it's on the assignment thing. It's just that I wanted to provide it for you. The CAS standards. You need to go to this website, and there's a section for graduate students, and you can click on it and find out different information. Accreditation is not going to go away anytime tomorrow. Accountability, data analysis, Qualtrics, whatever you want to call it, is becoming more and more. What is your resource saying to you about the decisions you need to make in your job? Well, the CAS standards is a pretty good comprehensive. It's a Council Advancement of Standards. It's like 50 different professional organizations have agreed on 13 component areas, maybe 14 now, where you identify your mission and it tells you how to do a self-study. And if you're ever going to go through an accreditation process, which you will if you work in higher education, this is the single recognized one where the accrediting associates go, well, if you're doing CAS reviews and you're doing self-studies, we know you have a good evaluation system, you have a good planning process, you have a process for closing the loop, on and on and on. But we'll cover that later in the course. I just loaded up on the Moodle pages. The Word documents are the instructions on how to do something. The assignment thing gives you an opportunity to actually attach and submit. So when you go in, you're going to see something just a little different. But I uploaded those today, but I didn't think anybody was going to turn in an assignment today, so I wasn't really worried about it. There are 4 major components of the course. The first one is an annotated bibliography, and you get to select the topic. My suggestion is that you select the topic in your service area, but it needs to be focused on student development, theory, organization, or administration of programs and services, or the history of student personnel. You just have to do some thinking. If you already work in a student services area, and that's little s, well, it's not big S, little s, because basically almost everything that everybody works at a university can be identified as a student service area, whether it's a controls office collecting money or a faculty member instructing a course. We're all here to help student development occur intellectually, socially, professionally. And so attached to the thing, what makes an annotated bibliography different than a regular bibliography is that the annotated bibliography, you've identified a general topic. So you're going to find resources on that topic area, and you're going to find that different resources have different points of view, and they're going to be written in the annotated bibliography is written from the standpoint of a critical analysis. Well, this presented this theory. It was very hands-on. I find it was helpful, and so you're not only doing a brief, succinct statement or two about what the topic, what the resource is about, you're critically analyzing and reporting, did it agree or disagree with the other resources? Is it something that requires additional investigation on your behalf for your personal and professional benefit? I let you pick the resources because if you haven't thought about your practicum topic, and that's like the finish line race, you need to start thinking about it now and start doing your research projects for your classes on the same topic area. So when you get ready to do your review of literature for your practicum, you have it basically done. That's due March 4th, only before March 4th. It's only 15 sources, I think, this time, or 20. It used to be 30. And what we're hoping is that you're going to discover information about student development theory or history, or information about student activities that's going to be reinforced by the chapters that we covered in the book. And so that parallels the information that's going to be covered from the presentations in the class. The second thing is an institutional review. I put that A as listed as outcome to work product because it's probably the biggest thing you're going to do. It's worth about 30% of your grade, 25 points for the written report. You're going to go in and pick an institution. Again, it's up to you. You just need to run it by me, so I'll make sure you're picking something that's not too big to bite off. You know, you can eat an elephant one bite at a time. It takes a while. And so what you're going to do is you're going to do a report on how are student development services organized at the particular institution that you selected. Is it differently organized? What's the philosophy, appears to be the philosophy about student development on the campus? What are some unique programs or services? So you're sort of like you're a visiting accreditation team member, and you're going in and you're going to write a report on your findings of what's offered at an institution. And then you're going to come back either electronically over the internet or in person and do a presentation for the group. So each person in this class gets the benefit from the report of information. And what you're going to find out is that programs and services are very different at a community college than at a four-year institution, and then a residential institution, at a private institution as compared to a religious institution. And so what will happen is, because you're asked to identify what's the organizational theory, there's a a couple of chapters in the book on organizational theory, organizational structure from the standpoint of what seems to be the philosophy of how things operate. Is it a tunnel-based system where everybody is in ivory tower and student affairs operates totally independent from the rest of the campus, which tends to happen on your larger campuses? Or is it something where it's enmeshed, where there's a lot of service learning and activities on the campus, and there's a structured 4-year approach? There are different models. I think it's around chapter 27. Drawing a blank for the chapter. And so what will happen is you'll learn how things are structured differently, because at some point in your administrative career in higher education, you don't expect to be in the same position you're in today 15 years from now. That's not going to happen, because you're going to grow as a person, you're going to grow professionally, you're going to want to take on different challenges and opportunities. And the purpose of this program is to prepare you for those options, not to make the selection for you what you're going to choose to do, but allow you to be positioned to take the risk and go into different leadership positions. You may one day wake up and go, well, I'm going to go work in financial aid. And may love it to be in the best place you will ever work in your life, because you like doing things that help people figure out a way to pay for their personal premiums. But it's not for everybody. Then there's everybody's going to be assigned a case study. I brought the book today. Before you leave today, I'll let you look at it and select. You just select the case study out the book. And then there's a procedure that's listed. It's called decision-making framework. In other words, nobody wants to know my opinion about anything. They may want to know my professional opinion based on some decision-making framework that I have used to approach a particular topic and challenge. And so we're going to not only discuss those 3 case studies in class, each year you're going to be assigned a case study to read and write a written response. Now, there's more than one type of decision-making framework. There's one offered in this book, but if you have a different one or you find a different model, just run it by me. It may be useful. Book review. Choose a book that's you're going to benefit something by. If there's a book you've just been looking at or somebody just mentioned to you, I don't expect you to read War and Peace, but I don't expect you to read Ace and Hand either, even though it's a good book. My 4-year-old grandson does that all the time. But I want you to read a book on where you think you're going to be 5 years from now. If you think you're going to be an academic advisor, then read your book on academic advising. If you think you're going to work in military services or veteran services on campus, then find a book that talks about the latest of what's happening in veteran services. Something that's going to help make you a better person. A book review is not a book report. A book review looks at things from a critical analysis standpoint. You're not only doing a brief description of what the content was about, but you're judging the professionalism or the authority, qualifications of the writer. You're looking at their theme, whether they have a bias in the presentation of information, whether it's consistent with other things you've learned in the past. So again, you're asked to offer your professional judgment about a book. And you just have to send me the title of the book. If you want to come look, I have about 500 books in my office. You're welcome to come by and borrow some, borrow one. But again, it's not meant to be an assignment that's going to make you feel like it's a bunch of wear and tear. I want it to be something that you're going to personally gain from. And so each one of y'all are going to have a different book. A lot of professors like to assign a book and get everybody writing about the same book. But we're not all in the same profession. We're not going to be. So why not allow you to choose that? And then lastly, it's not a major project. It's a minor part. It's the E on page 3. You're going to be asked to write 5 reflection statements. What's a reflection statement? About that big. 2 or 3 sentences about what was presented in class. It can be a reflection statement about a presentation one of your colleagues made in class. on something that I presented in class. But what you're trying to do in a reflection statement is to identify what was new, unique, or different that you learned, and how can you apply it, and how does it benefit you.
You said 2 or 3 sentences.
It could be long sentences.
Okay. I mean, I still heard 3 words, but you said 2 to 3 sentences, so.
I write long, complex sentences.
Oh.
No, in other words, no, but that's the maximum.
Okay.
Doesn't it say maximum?
It does. I did it last semester, so it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. And it allows you to think about things about, well, yeah, I like your presentation because it was organized and she made a point, and so we'll all learn from it. And then the final exam will be an active live exam. It'll be active for the people live. That's the only time on May 6th that everybody's going to either have to be here or be connected in, because you're all going to be given the same amount of time to respond to an issue. The assignment descriptions, there's attachments in the back. I'm not going to waste your time by reading through them. With the methods of evaluation are listed on here, the point value. I use a 100-point value system because if you're 90% of the points, you get 90 points. And so I don't like playing point games with graduate students because you're here for, you don't have to go to graduate school. Most people feel like they have to go to undergraduate school. But you're here for graduate school because you want to have an enriched experience. You want to engage in a leadership capacity that other people are not going to be able to because they don't have that master's or that doctoral degree. And so make a procedure. Again, this is going to be recorded just like all of our class meetings will be recorded and put on the Moodle page the next day. And so if you're not sure about something, or if one of your classmates missed class, they can log in, or if they want to attend via electronic live, they can log in through Zoom. Nobody zoomed in today though. But that's good. Well, there are things. I'm a traditionalist. Some people call me an ophobia, but there are certain things that I don't think an independent student who's not familiar with the field can gain an understanding from a perspective that someone who's been in the field for 30 or 40 years. And I believe that in a lot of cases in graduate school, you learn from each other's perspective and discussion as much as you learn from the professor. My job is not to teach you information as a graduate professor. My job is to teach you how to discover, find, and use information to address personal and professional developmental needs. I don't want to just give you information and then get it right back because I can read the book and get it. And so I like online, but online courses are not for every content area or every concept or learning. And so that's why I do the hybrid course. I'm the only one that does the course like this. And Nicholas, some people either do it all online or they do it all in person, where this is a hybrid course. But again, I want to be able to provide people who have different schedule issues and opportunities still to finish their degree. But I do believe that we will learn from each other as much as we learn from the books and assignments that we do. There's a sheet in the back, or it's this one. Come on, oh, here it is. My hands are too cold. That's all I'm doing is asking you to. You can pull it up and type it in, or just submit it to me, and it's going to force you over the next 7 days to have some discussion with me. Send me your book, send me your topic, send me your annotated topic, send me your institution report request, because I don't want everybody picking Fletcher. Because then we only get one perspective of one type of institution. What's good about it is y'all get first shot because y'all were here today. And nobody else zoomed in. So that we're given a chance to be active and live. And this is just a way for me to organize what's going to be done. And when you send me this, I will send you a written confirmation back. Because if I win $296 million tonight, I'm going to finish the course. but I may be finishing it from home now. If you went to a 96 manual, how much work would you get done in this course? He's like, don't even think about it. That would be a full-time job, spending money.
Yeah. Just get out here.
Helping people. Okay, so this is and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these on the 29th, compile a master list, a schedule of who's going to do what book, who's going to do what state, who's going to do what case study, who's going to do whatever, and then I'm going to send it out to everybody so that you know what schedule. So if you want to spend a few minutes, like if she's got case study X, Y, Z, well, you may want to spend 30 seconds just looking over the case study X, Y, Z before you come to class that day. And that way, we'll also identify the dates and times your presentations are due. They're generally due on the dates that are made due for the activities. And when I talk about presentations, she'll tell you, I'm not talking about a 20-minute presentation. It's this bing, bing, bing. What's the main theme? What's the purpose of it? What did you learn from it? What can we get from it? How can we use it?
Would you rather a physical copy or online?
Either way, whatever's easier for you. Assignments for classes. There's a sheet in here. I think it's like page 4. Page 3. These are the dates that I'm going to be here in person. So if you would like to come, it's on page 3. The reading assignment is the reading assignment for the next class. So like this week, if you were reading, I'd suggest you find time to read chapters 1 through 6 of the book in the student personnel points of view document. Because that'll prepare you. That way I don't have to go into all the information of what it contains, but I can spend my time talking about how the information influenced our profession. And what does it mean for the future, and how can we use it to affect change in the future. The case study assignment for January 29th. That's the 3 that's attached online. And so what I'm trying to do is to really make it where you can complete the course according to your work and personal schedule, because people have family responsibilities, they have job responsibilities, and we just want to make sure that everybody has what they need from the beginning of the semester. Now last semester we had a lot of trouble with getting this to work, but we worked on it over time, and believe it or not, at 5:40 today the internet was down. So it was going, oh no, here we go again. But technology, if the cell phone system goes out, I think America would be paralyzed. Hey, if somebody wants to take over the United States, just take over the cell phone system. Take over. Hey, maybe the Terminator's not too far away. I remember 1984 when the Terminator first came out. People laughed and said, "Oh, that's crazy. It's never going to be like that. Computers aren't going to control things. They control everything. They control everything." Okay, any questions about the syllabus?
You definitely cleared some stuff up.
Yeah.
You definitely cleared.
Well, I like to present everything that's needed for the course for the entire semester. You know your schedule. These are set deadlines. If there's some big thing, like if you're getting married on March 4th and you just can't be here, well, just talk to me, communicate. We'll work out some other deadline. We'll work out getting.
Let's hope so, right?
What's that?
Let's hope so.
Yeah. And so if there's somebody if somebody gets sick in your family and you have to take off 2 weeks because you have to go take care of family business, I've had that happen to me while I was in school, and so that's why if you want to work ahead of time, like I talked to Damien two weeks ago and I said the syllabus on, if you want to start working on it, go ahead. But he's working on his doctorate, so these courses he's going to build on these courses. That's going to help him when he goes to do work on his other courses. And I guarantee you, what will happen is when you go sit in those classes at UNO, Mississippi State, wherever you're going to be, they're going to ask, come in. They're going to ask you to do projects or assignments, and everybody in class is going to be moping and whining. You'll be going, that's it, right? Because you've had experience doing it. A lot of what you're going to learn from doing the work is how to implement The information is contained in the book and in the attachments and will be presented in the presentation from your colleagues and from
Some of the assignments are really similar to last semester's assignment.
structure-wise, yes.
Structure-wise. So if there is something and I do want to maintain my topic, and saying I'm not going to copy my old work,
Right.
but if it does go simultaneous with it, like could I use the same book and do a different idea? Like could I go with a different perspective?
We need to talk about it and see what you're doing. Generally, I would say if you use the book for a book review in another class, then you need a different one for this one. But at the same time, if you wanted the topic, suppose your topic was volleyball administration. I'm just picking out. Volleyball administration, but then you wanted to go in to volleyball clinic operations. They're both volleyball related, but it's different approaches to things. Okay. Any questions from anyone? Do y'all all know each other? Okay. We'll tell her your name, please.
I'm Haley Brewer. I am the graduate assistant at Nichols, so I work across the sidewalk right here. I'm from Long Beach, Texas. Only been here a semester, but it's been cool. I like Dr. Guys now.
Tell me your name.
Dustin Guidros. One interesting thing about me is I'm a twin. Got a twin brother. His name is Justin. Our parents wanted a Justin, so he was the first one born, so you got Justin, and they wanted to be cute, so they rhymed our names.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Damian Jefferson, advisor across the lawn over in Elkins. But yeah, like Dr. Dowd said, we take some courses to build the foundations for PhD. Interesting fact, like I tell my students, on weekends, I go from Damian to Daddy, which should be 5 Sunday. So I got a little human that bosses me around on weekends,
Haley Hodson. I'm also an advisor, so you can find both of us at Elkins, in Elkins. Pretty much just starting out grad school, just graduated in May. So.
Lauren Gregory, I'm a graduate assistant in Toy Med.
One last announcement, and I'll let you go, is that we've altered the concentration within higher ed to where we've added a course called Administration and Development of Sports, Recreation, and Wellness Programs. That's going to be offered in the fall, 5/25. We've also offered a concentration in higher ed and technology. And so we took 3 of the courses and changed them into ed leadership technology courses so people can actually pretty much be high-level competent and have an awareness of higher ed. So I'm going to bring handouts about that, and I'm going to post it on the new webpage. But you know what it is, and so you can not only get a higher ed administration, you can still do that. You can get a higher ed in technology. What the thing about technology is not going away. Well, thank y'all for coming today. If there's anything you need help with or questions, call or email.
They won't answer the phone.
And I'll call you back at maybe 2 o'clock in the morning.
So the institution can be anywhere in the U.S. Does it have to?
Anywhere in the world. We had reports on Chile, Brazil,
How was Brazil?
Brazil. Last semester we had. Wait, Jocelyn is who's from Argentina? Chile.
Javier.
Yeah, she's coming in next week. And so we have international students. But I think the athletic trainers folks would probably like the athletic administration course.
Yeah.
So for the topic assignment, we get topics from like the case study. That was looking into
You can pick a case study from the book with the topic. Think about what you see yourself doing 5 years from now.
I can talk about this.
What's it say?
The assignment selection.
Yeah, we gotta pick a case study from that book.
So that one's just
book.
That's just my copy.
Yeah.
right, but that one we don't have to get. So how are we gonna pick a case study without the book?
I put 3 online. You can come forward. Yeah, you can look at the book.
Yeah, I had emailed you saying that.
I don't have it either.
Institution is like the institution to do report.
Like,
That's what you choose. We're gonna have to talk.
Can it be like high school?
If it's depending on the high school, because there are some high schools that have where students earn associate degrees along the way. Where I'm not talking about 2 or 3 bright kids. I'm talking about
Like maybe like a
Uh,
college book or-
yeah, college.
Yeah, because I know one. I'm a full-time sub, trying to get an actual teaching position, but for right now, until there's an opening, I'm full-time subbing in one of the schools I go to. They do have something like that. It's where they can work for like also getting some college credit courses. So that.
If it involved the administration of that type of program. I wouldn't say just a traditional high school report. Just email me information, we'll communicate back and forth. If y'all want to spend a few minutes picking cases, but if you want to make an investment, that's a good goal.
Yeah, I may just buy it.
Yeah, it's like only
It's
Like
like
$12
You said 30, you said 12.
It is not expensive.
I just realized this is like the whole like course.
Yeah.
I just had a problem. I
Yeah.
thought this was like one and only.
That's 40 grand. $12. Is it prime? I'm about to get prime.
Yeah, it was like cheaper.
But also talk to these fellow higher ed students, some of them are better.
Yeah.
You want to stop it?
Yes.
Choose.